The theme of this session is Kill or Cure. In what shape will public services be after the government's deficit reduction plan? To help us explore the answer to the question, we've got a lineup of four great speakers. Can I invite Clive Betts to be the first of our four speakers?
The simple answer to the question, in what shape will public services be, is the answer is I don't know, and I don't think anybody else does at this stage. Part of the reason is the incredible dichotomy in government policy. At the very time when government is claiming it's going to allow local government and local communities to be able to do more things that they want to do in their areas, it is actually removing the resources that enable them to do it. So a complete contradiction. All the evidence is that the Total Praise programme of the Labour government, which started to pull things together and show how money could be spent on a pooled basis involving central government and local government funding, with local government in the lead as the accountable elected body in an area, how that could actually improve services and produce efficiencies at the same time. That's really been put on the back burner with the community budgets, and one of the reasons seems to be that, again, other central government departments aren't really signed up to it. They're not really signed up to joining up thinking at local level. They're certainly not signed up to pooling resources at local level. So where are we going to be? I think it is difficult to say. It will be different with different councils and how they respond. Almost certainly overall there are going to be a reduction in service. Cross-party, there is a mood in Parliament now to have a real localist approach, but it's how local government sits within that. To have, and I'm sure Graham will talk about this, a proper constitutional relationship between central and local government. One thing the government did positively respond to our Select Committee report on was they are now wanting to look at a local government right to challenge, where local government can come forward and say, we believe we can deliver those services better.
What would we do as a Labour government now? And I think some of the issues I'm going to raise actually are issues that I would have raised with the Labour government, let alone with a coalition government, because I think they're fundamental and they need to be tackled. What we were doing wasn't good enough, and we need now to start thinking about what we do next time it's our turn and our chance. So there's a rethink. My own contribution to that, it will be twofold. One is about early intervention. The second thing is the importance of the democratic settlement that we need to have for local government. Firstly, on early intervention, there is massive waste of public and private resource on tackling the problems of dysfunction in our society. We wait until problems are deeply rooted and then throw as much humanity and money at those problems and are surprised that it doesn't always work. The answer is to work with the babies, children and young people in our society to give them the social and emotional capability that you received from your parents and that you give to your kids. My second point, the democratic position of local government in this country. We are almost unique in Western democracies in having local government as the creature of central government. It is created by statute. It has no separate and independent existence. We need to demand our independence. We need to bring our country up to the basic standards of all the other Western democracies and have independent local government. Frightening concept, but also very exciting. So it's time that local government got off its knees, stopped holding out the begging bowl for bits and pieces and crumbs and a little bit here and there, and also demanding that there is a constitutional settlement which in our country separates local government from central government.
It's very clear that there are absolute cuts in some areas, social care, within the police force, frontline prevention services in the areas of childcare, policing and so on are going to be very much undermined after this process has gone through. I can't let this go without mentioning privatisation. While there is some move towards insourcing in some places, my fear is that the acceleration of privatisation will represent a further waste of public money. I think also we will see in the main personalisation without real choice. I think there's already significant evidence that particularly elderly people with personal budgets are being unable to buy the services they want because the services are being removed. To go on though to the workforce, I think when this process is finished we are going to have something of a crisis in industrial relations, and certainly a crisis in terms of the terms and conditions of many public sector staff, and particularly local government staff. In many authorities, particularly again Tory authorities, but not exclusively, the crisis is being used as a cover to reduce staffing costs in a way that sometimes isn't justified at all. At the end of this process, if things continue as they are, and that there is not a genuine recognition that the way you treat your staff is important to the services you deliver, then we're going to be in a very bad place indeed.
I think as we go towards the next general election, there are going to be, I think, some opportunities emerging, because I think this government will become under increasing pressure as a consequence of the policies it's currently implementing, that some of them will become increasingly untenable. A question asked about what shape will public services be in. I think in cities like Manchester, the public services that we deliver through local governments will in many respects be in very good shape indeed. And in some respects it's the wrong question, because we will be in a position that we're well organised, we're well focused, and that if additional resources become available, that we are in a position to use those resources quickly and effectively. The question is that what will the UK be like by the time of the next general election? And the housing crisis will have got worse, health will have got worse, unemployment will have got worse, and the real question is that by the time we get to the next general election, what is the task that we will have to use those public services in order to achieve? And that's, I think, is going to be a very dire situation indeed.